Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. I want to talk about letter writing once again. The power of letter writing. Writing letters to your attorney to get them to move. Writing letters to a school or doctor for medical records. Writing a letter to the police department because of misconduct from the police and your city council and the local prosecutor and the mayor or the county executive if it's the sheriff. Writing letters to different people, writing demand letters for people who committed a tort against you. These things move people. The vast majority of you will just call and complain or just tolerate stuff and won't write letters. You tolerate the school, not letting you see your kids on your off day when you were married or living together. You could go to the school anytime you want, get your kid for early dismissal, meet them for lunch or whatever. So I have a letter writing packet in my store with 31 different letters. Some of them are the same category and it's tweaked. There's like 10 or 12 different categories. So I just updated one with a letter where a dad wasn't allowed access to his kids, and all of a sudden the school district changed their policy on it, and which has happened before with other dads that couldn't go and see their kids for lunch or pick up their kids or drop something off at the school or get access to medical records. So let me show you the latest letter that I've updated and show you what's in my letter packet in my online store. So here's an example of a letter to a school district. There's a letterhead above. I've changed the names and the location and stuff. And so it's written like a professional letter. And it's something that anybody can work off of and use some of the same language or use whatever language you want to apply or change the wording and stuff. It's already set up as a template. And here's an example that got the school district's rear in gear. So it's regarding Jones Elementary. There's a fictional elementary school. Violation of my constitutional rights, sex and race discrimination. The dude was a person of color, so we use that also. Anti-father bigotry. Criminal acts of imprisonment, meaning when they withhold the child against the parent's will, they're imprisoning the child. The school is not, just like you drop a kid off at daycare or camp or a practice. If you're a parent who walks up and says, I want my kid, they can't hold your kid from you. But the schools think they can, and dads are such punks and cowards, they think that the school owns their children. Practicing law without a license because the principal is giving them legal advice like you can't do this, you can't do that. And I demand response in 48 hours. This is stuff dads do not do ever. They'll call somebody and say, hey, can you give me some information? I demand a response in 48 hours. This is the art of letter writing. And if they don't answer in 48 hours, you tell them what their answer means or the next action you're going to take. So you light a fire. A lot of you guys say, please get back to me soon or when you can, instead of demanding a deadline like anybody with half a brain would. The reason why I'm getting adamant about this is because I talked to lazy dad after lazy dad who just wishes and hopes that somebody else is going to do something for them. You have to do it and do it thoroughly. So, dear principal and the superintendent, yada yada. So I talk about the incident, or he talks about the incident. Right off the jump, we talk about Troxel versus Granville. Every single one of you should know this. If you're diligent when you watch my videos and you see me talk about your constitutional rights, you should go look that stuff up if you care about your kid. You shouldn't just sit back and go, oh, that's nice. That sounds nice. It's kind of like, if you have a personal trainer and they say, here's the diet for you to get better. Here's how you get unsick and unfat. Oh, that's nice. And then you don't do it. If you think I'm saying something that's nice and important, go do it and figure it out and learn it, or else get an appointment with me. So we talk about the incident of what happened, recite it to them so that in case they forget, because they got a million things going on, here's the crimes and violations of my rights and the court order. And then we even we quote them we go on we went on the school's website and got their own policy, and we're shoving it in their face. It's the policy not to discriminate on the basis of this, that, and that. And so we use that against them. We break down the crime, practicing law without a license, how you did that. Crime, imprisonment of the children. Crime, contempt of the court order and access to the kids. Discrimination as a Latino, Hispanic male and father. Here's my conclusion and demand. And at the end, like I said, we don't just sit back like a bunch of little, please, will you please help me and rescue me? If I don't hear from you within 48 hours, I will assume that you're confessing to all the claims. So you're putting words in their mouth so that when you don't hear from them, you could go to a court of law or somebody complaining, say they admit to everything because they stayed silent. It's called a default in family court. It's called a forfeit at a baseball game when the other side doesn't show up. And I will assume there is no legal authority you even had to do what you did. And then we start talking about them relying upon the feminist culture and all that other stuff. So if I don't hear from you, I will be taking the next proper legal recourse with state and federal court system that you don't need to detail it to them, but just let them know and scare the crap out of them, make them crap their pants, as well as take it up to the state board of education and any other watchdog group. So there you go as a sample. So then let me show you here how to get to my store. I'm going to show you a couple of samples of other things, the list of things that are in my letter packet. If you wrote a letter like the one I just showed you and paid an attorney to do it, they would want $250 at least. My entire packet of 31 different letter samples, which makes it worth like thousands of dollars, is $45 for you guys. So let's look at that and how to get it in my store. So here's a bunch of you'll get a zip file. There's a generic professional letter template, which you see on top. If I highlight that, it's just kind of blank and it just gives you the format of any type of, whatever. So here's a complaint of, in my own case, my baby's mom, her sister, I called her and she's recording my conversation, or she called me and recorded my conversation. So I wrote Regents where my own baby's mom's sister, Barbara Wright, was recording me and committing a crime. So I'm giving samples from my actual case that got people in gear. I'm complaining about a commissioner or a judicial officer. Letters firing an attorney, demanding a refund. Supplemental complaint and demanding a refund. So child support prosecutor. Okay. Child support folks demanding discovery and just writing a letter and saying, hey, give us all your stuff. And guys just go, oh, I better do that because somebody told me to, when they don't have any legal authority to demand that stuff. That was a particular situation. Letter to the court clerk about the family law facilitators practicing law. So here goes a letter that went to Cowlitz County up here, So a letter to the GAL, a demand for their background, which is required by law up here, maybe in your state, but you may want to know their qualifications. A letter to opposing counsel demanding visitation, and talking about basically, an attorney, here's an example of the letterhead. It doesn't show everything. You had been, and we're trying to pin it on them that you're the one who's been advising the client to do the following: blocking the child's phone contact and all this other stuff. So we're telling the attorney, a lot of times these attorneys don't know what's going on. So we're telling the attorney, you're advising her to do all this stuff. Opposing attorney, I'm asking for service via email because you have to do it in writing. Complaints of unethical conduct from the opposing attorney. Complain about the mom putting the child in the middle of negotiations. You guys all got that going on. This is why anybody who doesn't get all these write letters to the other side, you don't have to get my packet, write letters to the other side. You don't create a paper trail. You're an idiot for not doing it. While they're sitting there bombing you with letters accusing you of stuff, you sit there silent, just wish and hope they go away. The other side, here's a letter against somebody who threatened contempt and how it's BS and hot air. So letters to the opposing attorney demanding visitation, letter to the parenting evaluator, letter to the school blocking my access to the kids and their records. That's the one I just read to you. Medical records, complaining to the doctor and wanting them. Another one, medical records, police complaints, and more school complaints about access. So there's really about 10 categories and 31 different samples of that kind of stuff. Initial nice request, and then there's a harsh complaint afterward. So next, let's go to. Okay, so I'm here on my YouTube page. Under any video is my flow page. Now this is a new flow page. They deleted the old one, so it's not updated on every single video. But I've been trying to get on that. So if you go to the wrong one, go to my recent video and click the link. Here's my flow page. Boom. And there's this must-see section down here that everybody should be paying attention to. But my store is up here, and there's an explanation video about my store, the 3 most important things that every dad needs. But if you click on that and go to my store, you scroll down, here's all the items that you can order. There's the demand letters. Bam, there you go. Everybody should be checking this stuff out or learning how to write letters.